I'm Nick Blackwell and I'm a member of Southborough Town Council and I'm a member of the Labour Group, the leader of the Labour Group on Southborough Town Council.
You've seen these new hub plans this morning in the library. Do you think they're what Southborough needs?
I think we definitely need a new hub, we need a new town centre, and Southborough desperately needs investment. I'm not convinced we're there yet with the plans. I think there's a lot more time and energy and consultation that's needed before we get the solution that's right for Southborough.
We're standing in front of the Royal Victoria Hall Theatre. Do you think that the replacement planned for it is a lot better to justify the cost of putting a brand new theatre up, having demolished this one?
Well, I think people who've been following the campaign will know, as the Labour Group, we campaigned extensively to try and retain the Royal Victoria Hall. We thought with the right investment it was viable, it had a good life ahead of it, and I'm very, very sad that that is not going to be the case now. Saying that though, we recognise that there was consultation. A small number of people in the town did respond, but they made their feelings clear and they've said they would like a new theatre. So really, we're looking to the future.
They said they wanted a new state-of-the-art theatre.
They do want a new state-of-the-art
So if it's not
theatre.
State-of-the-art, do you think perhaps, if there isn't the funds there to make it state-of-the-art, do you think perhaps they should think again and possibly scale down the scheme and rethink knocking it down?
I think one of the problems has been we've been promised a lot, and as you know, the project needs to pay for itself. It will come through the sale of the residential, which will mean the loss of significant space in our playing fields. So therefore there is no extra investment coming from the other partners. Southborough has nothing to put into the pot. KCC are obviously giving up their library plot, and I imagine that's going to be very valuable when that's sold off housing. But that's not going to be contributed to the development. And Tunbridge Wells, apart from a small parcel of land, this building behind us belongs to Tunbridge Wells, and the toilet block belongs to Tunbridge Wells. But that's pretty much it for Tunbridge Wells. So it's got to pay for itself. I think a lot of us are dismayed, and actually the people I've been speaking to in the town are very, very concerned that the housing allocation has crept up again and again and again. The local plan, which is the document that sets out what we would have had allocated for that particular site within Southborough, was initially 25, and then it went up towards 50, and then it exceeded 50, and now we're on 69 houses. And I think those people who spend most of their days driving through Southborough, sitting in traffic, when I spoke to them in the library, just expressing disbelief when they're being told by officers the problem is sorted on the junction. You know, we know they've refaced the lights, we know they've laid down some new tarmac, but traffic in Southborough is absolutely appalling. It gridlocks every day.
So has there been a careful study of the impact on traffic of having 69 new houses?
We are told that there has been a traffic impact survey undertaken.
Have you seen it?
No. And we're having a meeting on Monday, as you know, to actually agree the plans. And it's a key piece of information that you would think councillors, if they're going to sign up to the master plan and the housing and, you know, how the whole site operates, they would have seen. It's key information. It's something when we were dealing with Tesco's we demanded early on the project. In fact, it was the key piece of information that in the end said we're walking away from this, because we could see it was going to be absolute chaos in terms of the road networks.
So the other thing council taxpayers in Southborough are interested in is, will there be revenue coming in to this new hall? Will it be hired out efficiently? Are you confident that there's enough demand to use the hall and enough people have been consulted and are keen on using the hall as it's been designed at the moment?
Well, again, it's exactly what you would expect to see. We've asked continuously over the last year, can we see the finances? Can we see the business plan? Can we see what your forecasts in revenue are? What your take-up projections for the hall would be? What's your, least occupancy? What your highest yield would be? We've got none of that information.
Do you think there is a plan hidden
We've
away
been
somewhere?
told it's been worked up, but you would expect Monday we're making the vote. Where is it? I mean, we've got to be, as councillors, we've got to be financially prudent, because the decisions that we make will be picked up financially. The tab's going to be picked up on the precept, which basically means ratepayers of Southborough and High Brooms. So if this hall isn't fit for purpose, if it isn't what the people of Southborough want, it is going to mean a massive hike in terms of the taxpayers of Southborough and High Brooms.
Is there a sort of legal duty of councillors to do due diligence before embarking upon a £1 million scheme?
That's exactly what it is. We should all be asking those questions. It shouldn't be up to just a small minority to say, we want to see the finances, we want to know that this is going to pay for itself. We should all be scrutinising that, we should all be asking the questions, but as I say, it's not happening at the moment.
But a lot of the people I spoke to coming out of the library were quite positive. They thought this new plan could be something that would work and bring new life to Southborough.
I think most people in town desperately want to see something happening on this site because it's been years and years and years of inaction. This building behind us is, which is owned by Tunbridge Wells Borough Council, is slowly rotting into the ground. There's been no investment. KCC have never spent any money in my lifetime on Southborough. So yes, we definitely need the investment. We definitely need the project, but we need to get it right. We've got one chance to do the right thing for Southborough. This, whatever we do, the legacy will last for decades. So we need to get it right, and really picking over the fine detail and making sure it's fit for purpose is absolutely crucial. We've looked at a hall, and this is the kind of thing that just beggars belief. They've designed a hall cum theatre, and it was an oversight by the architects that it doesn't contain any windows. So someone did say, this is supposed to be a sustainable building, except it's going to be lit entirely by artificial illumination. Now I've been told by an officer, if we've got the budget, we might put in some roof lights.
But if you look on the plans, doesn't generate as much light as...
No, of course not. But it just seems basic things that you would expect if they had consulted properly and they'd gone out and spoken to the user group, the people in Southborough. This could have been a really good hall. But, just basic things like, would you really put a kitchen on the second floor? If you speak to anybody who's in kind of catering, you would say, well, no, you have that on your ground floor. Where's the storage facility to put your chairs, your table, all the things you need to run a community hall? Well, it's not included, it's not there. Windows, it's not there. You've got an orchestra pit that's set round to the right of the building. It's just really basic things that you would have thought anybody who had a grasp of what is required, we wouldn't be looking at going for planning permission. And we're still kind of working out basic requirements of how the hall is going to run. That really concerns me, because if we're not getting the basic stuff right, how are we then going to deal with the kind of, the more kind of controversial stuff like what the building actually looks like? So one of the things that officers have been very, very quiet about, and it will be one of the reserved matters, is the actual, the building palette of materials that we used. And at the moment, we're looking at polycarbonate panels, or plastic panels, And when I spoke to the architect, the architect said, yeah, they're cheap. And they are cheap, but we're only going to do this once. I don't want to be looking at a tatty, faded facade in 20 years and we have to strip it all off and start again. And I would hope as well that the architects have actually taken on board the site. We're here in a high street that is largely Victorian. It's red and honey-coloured brick. The only thing it really relates to is Hythe Close behind us, and I think most people would say that's not probably the high point for architecture in Southborough's High Street. We could do a lot better than that. So that's another thing that I'm really worried about. That there isn't the money there. We are getting a very cheap building, and I think in some ways we've been sold a pup. We've been told we're getting something that's kind of, Prada, we're getting Poundland. It's not what people are thinking. Everything looks nice on an architect's plan, but I think when people see it, they will be disappointed.